Saucy Santana on Lil Nas X and Lizzo dream collabs, his pop era, and making the world his own. Saucy Santana arrives 2 hours late to his Teen Vogue photo shoot. After hustling from the airport to the Manhattan photo studio, the rapper has slotted in our cover shoot between a Detroit show the night before and a New York performance in a few hours. He has spent the past 4 weeks opening Latto's 777 tour, performing nightly, arranging meet and greets, and making club appearances. Santana is exhausted. His energy seems low when he and his team walk into the third-floor studio, right past his rider, and into the lounge area. Santana is, to use his own description, wearing his expressions on his face. Eventually he settles into the space, finding his way to the fitting room, scoping out the mood board covered in images of an early 2000s Missy Elliott, Destiny's Child, and Aaliyah. It's not until he turns on his own music and steps in front of the Seamless for the first shot that the energy comes rushing back to him. A light turns on. This is when we see Santana's spark, and when we see exactly how he became the viral sensation he is today. In between photos he's quick to make moments for the B-roll, iPhone footage, and TikToks. He gives just as much care to the lo-fi content as he does the hi-fi, knowing well that in 2022 the final photos matter just as much as the 6-second social clips. This is how Santana was able to take Madonna's hit Material Girl and transform it into the TikTok and club hit it is today. He uses an impeccable understanding of the media landscape and combines it with an authenticity that's hard to replicate. I feel like you never go viral when you're trying to, because a lot of my songs that go viral, I wasn't trying, he tells Teen Vogue. I feel like I'm just literally in the studio having fun. Santana made the song distinctly black and queer, something so many of his fans can see themselves reflected in. That is also distinctly reflective of his home state, Florida. We just have our own culture and our own flavor to music, he observes. Make no mistake, Santana is very much himself, and he isn't interested in constantly being an internet personality. But he also seems to know that giving the audience a reflection of themselves but shinier is where the magic lies. Saucy Santana was a really badass kid. His mother called him rebellious, his grandmother nicknamed him Moody, and the 28-year-old celebrity makeup artist turned rapper and viral sensation finally understands why. I have many moods. I wear my expressions on my face, he says with a smirk. That's something that I'm working on. But that same rebellious teenage spirit helped land him here today. My mama didn't play that, he says, reminiscing on a younger Santana who didn't like to adhere to rules. Born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, before growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, he spent his teen years developing a taste for luxury and personal style, a material girl in his own right, rocking nails and purses. His parents helped shape his taste for the finer things. My mom was always the GM or the head manager at her job. My dad was a celebrity bodyguard, says Santana, whose legal name is Rachet Spain. I've seen a lot of luxurious things early, which helped me be a material girl. But in his teen years, sometimes that translated to spending money on things he didn't need. I was already living on my own at 17, he recalls. I'm grateful for the things I would do as a teenager because it just helped me turn into a hustler. That mentality brought him to a career as a makeup artist for hip-hop duo City Girls, a relationship that blossomed into musical collaborations and friendship, all before he embarked on his music career full-time. Breaking rules might not resonate with teachers or stern mothers, but sometimes it will get you millions of streams, thousands of fans, and an RCA record deal. The Material Girl rapper's big personality, viral twerking TikToks, chaotic Instagram lives with City Girls Young Miami, and signature bars have thrust him into the limelight, and not just for 15 minutes. Back in the studio, Santana commands the space. He knows what he needs and is not shy to ask for it. He firmly yet respectfully asks the makeup artist to take a backseat so he can perfect his look to his liking. I've always been like that, since I was a kid, he tells me, before throwing his attention to his crew huddled by the couches. Somebody pushed that fan up. 2 friends of his finagle the sloped, standing fan until the air again finds Santana's face. He's more serious than I expected. I tell him so, and it's obvious he's heard this before. A lot of people see me and they're looking for internet Santana, Kersha please Santana, and in real life, I'm dead-ass serious, he says. The problem with being an internet personality is the expectation to perform all the time. His online charisma has garnered him many loyal fans who embrace his bluntness, relatability, and hilarious expressions. To follow him feels like you've found a new friend, someone to snicker or kicky with. While those parts of him are authentic, it doesn't mean he's accessible all the time. You're not going to ever make me feel like I'm forced to take a picture with you when I don't feel like it, he says. You're not going to force me to be happy when I'm not in a happy mood. I'm human. I go through stuff like everybody else. On tour, Santana has struggled with having to always be, well, on. His personal life or a bad mood have almost led him to cancel a show or two. I literally walk on stage with an attitude, 9 times out of 10, he says. I don't get my energy until I walk out and see screaming. I'm like, okay, it's playtime. But you would never sense the hesitation, because he gives so much of himself on stage. You can always expect a Twitter stan or two to recap his performance, including the screaming fans and him doing the heel toe. The fan base Santana has cultivated on social media is starting to find him in real life too. His world is changing fast. The rapper is collaborating with Lil Nas X, performing at some of the biggest music festivals, smoking hookah with Kehlani, and attending the Laquan Smith Met Gala after party. Santana may collectively have millions of followers and streams, but the visibility still leaves him in shock and awe, sometimes even starstruck. Chloe Bailey followed me. I'm like, girl, how the FCK do you know Santana? I ask who else has found their way onto his followers list. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Rihanna. Rihanna is still a daily gag, he tells me. It's all adding up. The Santana army is growing, and not just online. The rapper now travels with a bodyguard, just to keep everything controlled. Admittedly, in the moment I learned that, I questioned the necessity, but a week later it became clear I was wrong to wonder when, while scrolling on Twitter, I viewed a mob of fans swarming around him as he walked through Boston. Santana, a superstar? The Twitter user asked. The answer: absolutely. Ironically, being a rapper was never his plan. I thought I was going to be a celebrity makeup artist, Santana says. I didn't think I was going to be the celebrity getting their makeup done. I didn't think that I would be a rapper. But I'm happy it happened. Rap wasn't even his first love. Baby Santana had a pop era before he moved to Florida from Connecticut. When I was younger, I was very into pop culture. I used to love pop music. My favorite artist was Britney Spears, he says. Though Britney is universally that BTCH, one of his favorite Britney songs is surprising. What's the song, When She Was in the Mountains, because she had a movie about it. He pauses to think. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. And it doesn't stop there. Among Santana's favorite pop culture pieces of yesteryear, Club 7, The Spice Girls, Seventh Heaven, WWE. Trish Stratus was my favorite, he says. Discussing Club 7 in 2022 takes me out. Your range is iconic, I tell him, laughing. I know, right? And I really watched it because nobody would know that. I was all over the place as a child, he says. But I just feel like even all of that still influences me. For example, you can see the Spice Girls and Y2K influence in his personal style, with the rapper rocking everything from space buns to chunky, platform heels. To this day, I listen to everything. I like to know what's going on, Santana notes. He keeps a Rolodex of pop culture references, both new and old, in his back pocket. My favorite two songs right now are First Class by Jack Harlow, and What Happened to Virgil by Lil Durk and Gunna. Even after he traded in Britney Spears for Gucci Mane and Trina, the range remains. Hip-hop became his true love, and here he stands in the thick of it. Rap has many faces now, and the goal is for more to come. Lil Nas X has inarguably played a huge role in enabling part of that to happen. Santana knows it and admires him for it. I was so proud of Lil Nas when I was looking at his nominations and stuff. He's in Best Male Artist with Straight Men. The rapper also secured 4 nominations at the most recent Grammys and even won a few in 2020. To be clear, though, both rappers are not exempt from experiencing the rampant homophobia found within the rap world and the world at large. It feels easy to box in musicians by their identifiers: female rappers, gay rappers. And although these differentiators are factual, they can also be othering, a prefix ahead of the word rapper that sometimes overshadows an artist's skill set. Santana has seen both sides of that. Before, I didn't want to be labeled a gay rapper, he recalls. Then, in the middle of my career, I started to embrace it because I just felt like it was helpful to my culture and to my people. Sometimes going viral is luck, sometimes it's authenticity. Occasionally, it's ad dollars. Labels and big brands throw money when given the chance. For creators, navigating finicky algorithms that tend to reward whiteness is not an easy feat. To be a black creator, specifically a TikToker, comes with many caveats, some of which have led to strikes and major backlash. But visibility online is becoming extremely lucrative. Influencing is a full-time job. TikTokers are hosting red carpets in Hollywood, and cover songs have led to record deals. It's powerful for black queer people, particularly, to see themselves in both rap and popular culture, and not as a niche. With rappers like Saucy Santana, Lil Nas X, Young Ma, Kid Ken, and more, room is being made in the rap world to not only exist as a queer person, but to thrive. Regardless of what the world is ready to accept, Santana, in his corsets, high heels, and all his glory, is blowing up big time. Material Girl, the track that catapulted Santana onto millions of For You pages, has become more than a song, it has evolved into a lifestyle. Being a material girl is being a boss, handling your business, being a hustler, having good credit, taking care of your kids, making sure your bills are paid, he says. His lyricism caught on because it was aspirational, hilarious, blunt, and also, in many ways, accessible. Now, being a material girl can look 100 different ways, not just skinny, cis, and white. Sure, Santana maintains Madonna's ethos of opulence, but he has opened up that narrative to include a black queer storyline. Santana's Material Girl originated in 2019. But it got a second wind in late 2021. Though black women and queer people remain at the center of Santana's focus and fan base, his Material Girl reached, well, everyone: dental hygienists, animals, illustrators, brands, Roblox creators, and more. The song birthed memes, fan cams, and even a few mashups. Everyone is paying attention. I had a couple meetings with a couple labels, he says. It's a tug of war for Santana right now. The wolves came running, especially after seeing those streaming numbers. Once people started seeing my stardom, they looked at me as a check. Fortunately, Santana is quick to call bullshit, and he believes in his new partnership with RCA, an agreement he positions much more as a partnership. They believe in Santana. They see the vision. I'm just happy someone wanted to get behind me, elevate, and grow, and just be the biggest star possible. Santana's goal is for his experience now to be the norm. When I walk into rooms, I have male fans who really want to scream louder than the women, want to call their daughters on FaceTime, want to call their wives, and their family members, like, "Oh, I'm with Santana." He looks almost surprised to say it. But when you're a dark-skinned black, gay rapper who disrupts gender norms, you don't quite expect your existence to be normalized, or sometimes even recognized outside of your own community. The idea is not to belong, but just to be. Santana's self-assurance is steadfast. Everyone else needs to work around that. His comfort and deftness at navigating the rap world remind me of a powerful interview post-star Dominique Jackson gave the Caribbean Equality Project. In short, she said, "I don't need you to accept me. I may want you to understand me. But as far as you accepting me, that just means that you are greater than I am." And trust me, a lot of these up-and-coming rappers aren't touching Santana's light. There is so much ahead for the rising star. This summer we're set to get a LilNasXCollab, which the Montero rapper teased back in March. It's called Down South Hose. I think Lil Nas is ready to go into his twerk era, so he came and got me, Santana says with an all-knowing grin. He knew who to call for the fun stuff. Related, Hailey Kiyoko on for the girls, Becca Tilley, and her evolving panoramic vision. Ideally, the iconic link-ups don't end there. Santana's dream collab. Lizzo and Gucci Mane, he answers before I even finish asking the question. I promise to manifest it for him. I'm manifesting it, too, girl. Every night, I'm praying. I'm in Lizzo's DM every day. Saucy Santana has so much joy to offer the world, and the world has so much to offer him and the black, queer rappers coming up after him. He doesn't need reminding. I am in Teen Vogue. In 2019, we were somewhere, running around the projects. So life, he gestures around him to the photo studio and his people, is good. It looks the way it feels. His crew is filled with longtime friendships and a lot of laughter. He stands in the light, cinched in a hot pink jumpsuit that hugs his curves. Saucy Santana's time is now and he's ready for it all. I just want to be a superstar, a megastar. I want to do everything possible for Santana, whether it's acting, movies, magazine covers, Grammys, just everything that I could possibly do. Teen Vogue is just the tip of the iceberg.